Now there's one very simple move that you can do to finally stop standing up out of your posture in the downswing. It actually has to do with your shirt buttons, believe it or not. You see, when I stand up out of my posture, my hips go in toward the golf ball, my spine straightens up, and my shirt buttons actually get farther away from the golf ball. So that would look something like this. I'm gonna go ahead and stand up in my downswing, go ahead and top it there. Obviously a terrible swing. I'm trying to demo kind of an extreme there where I'm really backing out of it, and I feel like I can barely reach the golf ball. Well, when I think about my shirt buttons actually getting closer to the golf ball, this gets easier and easier. And see what the pros are doing, which is so counterintuitive, is they're delivering the club with about 30% of the loft that it naturally has on it. So if I have my 6-iron with 30 degrees of loft, I'm gonna lean this shaft forward about 10 degrees until I take 10 degrees off, 30%. Well, as I'm doing that, the handle is getting farther in front of my body. It's also getting closer to the ground. You know, if I was to lean this all the way forward, the handle would be way down there. It'd have to be way here, much lower than I'd be comfortable with. So most players have just never had that feeling. And mostly it's because of what their chest is doing. If I feel like my shirt buttons in the downswing are gonna cover on top of this golf ball, and this is what pros are talking about when they say cover it. They mean my chest is going forward. If I had a laser shooting out of my shirt buttons, it wants to be pointing straight down to the ground. And look at what that does with my hands. Instead of losing my posture and being very tall like this, where now my shaft has to be straight up and down, I can barely reach the golf ball. As I start to cover the golf ball, now I have all this space to get tons of shaft lean, just like the pros are doing. So for me, the feeling that I want to have in the downswing, if I start losing my posture at all, is I want to feel like as soon as I start down, my rear end shoots back toward this wall, and that makes my shirt buttons go closer and closer to the ground. I want to feel like my shirt buttons are on top of the golf ball, and as I rotate open, it's almost like my shirt buttons are touching this golf ball and kind of rolling it forward like that. That's almost the visual I have. Obviously that's a silly visual, but that in my mind, that tends to work. So I'm bending forward enough to where it feels like to me, my shirt buttons are on the golf ball, and as I rotate open, that just kind of rolls the ball forward. There we go. So hit that one pretty good, 190 yards for a 6-iron. Not too bad. Now, one thing that'll happen naturally with this is you'll start to see the ball flight get lower and lower and even more penetrating. So on the bottom of the screen, we can see dynamic loft of 25.8. I'd actually like to see that a little bit lower, down around, say, 21 degrees. And all that means is, as I get closer and closer, if I don't want to bury this club down into the ground, I have to get more and more shaft lean. So the closer I get to the ground, the more my club shaft is going to be leaning forward. Not only does that help you to get more compression, to get more solid strike on the ball, it also, when the hands, the more they get forward, the easier it is to get the divot in front and get rid of those daggone chunks and thin shots and inconsistency. So here I'm going to get even closer, try to get even more shaft lean. Let's see if we can get that number down around, say, 21, 22, something like that. There we go, pretty solid. 20.4, look how the carry distance shot up to 201. I could feel that divot coming down in front. Everything got a lot easier. Now, there is a problem with this. There's one problem. Most players have been told to square up the club by releasing the forearms. You see, when I roll my forearms over each other like this, that's what squares up the face. Well, the problem is now I'm trying to get shaft lean and have my hands in front, which would be kind of the club not quite being released yet. It's just kind of dragging behind with the face open. So when most players do this, instead of hitting a straight shot or a draw like we just saw on that one, a lot of times you'll hit a shot that goes out to the right. You have never been taught the way that the pros square up the face, which isn't by releasing the forearms or rolling the forearms. It's by using the wrist a little bit in a different way. Now I want to share that with you right now. It's what I call the anti-roll method. And I'm going to walk you through exactly the right way to square up the club, just like the pros, in this next video. All you need to do, go ahead and click the card that pops up on the screen. If you don't see that card, go down to the link below in the description. Go ahead and click that link and you'll get instant access to this video. Best of luck, and I'll see you in the anti-roll method. Here's the bottom line. If you've been taught to roll the club in the early downswing, that causes the shaft to get steep. And that steep club causes all your problems. Causes you to hit it way behind the big hitters, and way inconsistent with your quality of strike. So you're in the tall grass and the trees and the hazards all day long. Now the great news is this, there's really only two pieces that you need to know to fix all these problems. The first one is we need to learn the proper way to square up the club face. Instead of rolling the forearms and getting steep, there's another way that the pros do this. Once you learn this right way to square up the club face, then you can shallow out from the inside and everything starts to fit together. Now I'm going to teach you this right now in what I call the anti-roll method. You may also hear this called the motorcycle move or the tour twist, but let's walk through exactly how to do that. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and go kind of in the last parallel in the downswing. So here, I want my hips to go ahead and be opening up. I want my club to be parallel with the ground, and I want my hands to be in front of my right thigh. Now, when I take my grip, you're going to notice that when I do this, the club face is basically straight up and down. So if I'm looking at it from this angle, you'll see the face is straight up and down, and my logo of my glove is pointed out in front of me. Now from there,